Welcome to Bible Quizzes. The questions today are based in the book of Exodus. Are you ready? Let's begin. Round 1. True or false? 1 point each. 1. God hardened Pharaoh's heart. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 9:12. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had spoken unto Moses. 2. The primary reason God sent the plagues was to destroy Egypt. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is false. Exodus 7:5. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I stretch forth mine hand upon Egypt and bring out the children of Israel from among them. 3. Moses told God, I am not worthy due to his concerns about speaking. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is false. Exodus 4:10. And Moses said unto the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. 4. The children of Israel's names were inscribed on the two onyx stones. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 28:9. And thou shalt take two onyx stones and grave on them the names of the children of Israel. 5. Exodus 31 describes the Sabbath as a perpetual covenant between God and the Israelites. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 31:16. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant. 6. Along with Bezalel and Aholiab, Hur is named a key builder for the tabernacle project. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is false. Exodus 36:2. And Moses called Bezalel and Aholiab and every wise-hearted man in whose heart the Lord had put wisdom, even everyone whose heart stirred him up to come unto the work to do it. 7. The tablets Moses received on Mount Sinai had writing on both sides. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 32:15. And Moses turned and went down from the mount, and the two tablets of the testimony were in his hand. The tablets were written on both their sides, on the one side and on the other were they written. 8. Aaron cast the golden calf in the fire without any engraving or molding involvement. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is false. Exodus 32:4. And he received them at their hand and fashioned it with a graving tool after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, These be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. 9. The glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle immediately after Moses finished setting it up. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 40:33-34. And he reared up the court round about the tabernacle and the altar, and set up the hanging of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. 10. Shittim wood was not listed as a material for building the tabernacle. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is false. Exodus 37:1. And Bezalel made the ark of shittim wood. 2 cubits and a half was the length of it, and a cubit and a half the breadth of it, and a cubit and a half the height of it. 11. A wagon was the chosen vehicle to transport the Ark of the Covenant. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is false. Exodus 37:5. And he put the staves into the rings by the sides of the ark to bear the ark. 12. 12 stones in the breastplate of judgment symbolize the tribes of Israel. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 28:21. And the stones shall be with the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet, and everyone with his name shall they be according to the 12 tribes. 13. Annually, a 7-day celebration is required for the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 34:18. The feast of unleavened bread shalt thou keep. 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, as I commanded thee, in the time of the month Abib, for in the month Abib thou camest out from Egypt. 14. The mercy seat should go under the Ark of the Covenant. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is false. Exodus 25:21. And thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark thou shalt put the testimony that I shall give thee. 13. The holy anointing oil was meant to pour on a person's flesh. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is false. Exodus 30:31-32. And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, They shall be a holy anointing oil unto me throughout your generations. Upon man's flesh shall it not be poured. 16. The construction of the tabernacle was scheduled at the beginning of the first month in the second year after leaving Egypt. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 40:17. And it came to pass in the first month in the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was reared up. 17. Bezalel from the Dan tribe helped construct the Ark of the Covenant. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is false. Exodus 31:2. See, I have called by name Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. 18. The altar of burnt offering was made of shittim wood, overlaid with brass. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 38:1-2. And he made the altar of burnt offering of shittim wood. He overlaid it with brass. 19. The tabernacle was set up outside the camp after the golden calf incident. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 33:7. And Moses took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, afar off from the camp, and called it the tabernacle of the congregation. 20. The construction of the tabernacle followed the order: curtains, ark, table, and lampstand. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is true. Exodus 36:8. And every wise hearted man among them that wrought the work of the tabernacle made 10 curtains. Exodus 37:1. And Bezalel made the ark. Exodus 37:10. And he made the table. Exodus 37:17. And he made the candlestick. And that ends round 1. Round 2, multiple choice, 2 points each. Let's begin. 21. Who spotted baby Moses in the river? Pharaoh's daughter. Miriam. Moses' mother. Egyptian slave. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Pharaoh's daughter. Exodus 2:5. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. 22. On what mountain did God give the 10 commandments? Mount Ararat, Mount Moriah, Mount Zion, Mount Sinai. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Mount Sinai. Exodus 19:20. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. 23. What did the Israelites build for worship during Moses' absence? Wooden serpent, golden calf, bronze altar, silver statue. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is golden calf. Exodus 32:3-4. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron, and he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf. 24. Who was Moses' spokesperson? Caleb, Joshua, Aaron, Hur. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Aaron. Exodus 4:16. And he, Aaron, shall be thy spokesman unto thy people, Israelites, and he shall be, even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou, Moses, shall be to him instead of God. 25. What food did God supply in the wilderness? Quail meat, fish stew, olive fruit, manna. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is manna. Exodus 16:15. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, It is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. 26. Where did Moses flee after killing an Egyptian? Egypt, Midian, Canaan, Goshen. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Midian. Exodus 2:15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh, and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Who was Moses' father-in-law? Joab, Joseph, Jethro, Jebediah. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Jethro. Exodus 3:1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. 28. What did Moses use to sweeten the water at Marah? Sugar, rod, tree, honey. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is tree. Exodus 15:25. And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. 29. How did God appear to Moses in Horeb? Burning bush, whispering wind, thundering cloud, shimmering light. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is burning bush. Exodus 3:2. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. 30. On which day did God rest after creation? Seventh day, fourth day, eighth day, sixth day. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is seventh day. Exodus 20:11. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. 31. Who crafted the golden calf? Hur, Bezalel, Pharaoh, Aaron. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Aaron. Exodus 32:4. And he, Aaron, received them at their hand and fashioned it with a graving tool after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, This be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. 32. Who is the firstborn son of Moses and Zipporah? Gershom, Gera, Gerson, Geshur. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Gershom. Exodus 2:21-22. And Moses was content to dwell with a man, and he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter, and she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. 33. What was the consequence of defiling the Sabbath? Exile, death, fasting, public disgrace. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is death. Exodus 31:14. You shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 34. What did Moses hit to produce water for the Israelites? Stream in Sinai, well in Midian, rock in Horeb, lake in Goshen. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is rock in Horeb. Exodus 17:6. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. 35. What was the second plague? Lice, boils, frogs, hail. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is frogs. Exodus 8:1-2. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs. 36. What marked the ultimate display to Pharaoh of God's might over Egypt? Death of the firstborn, swarm of locusts, plague of darkness, turning the Nile into blood. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is death of the firstborn. Exodus 11:5. And all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. 37. What substance did Israelites apply on their doorposts to keep safe during Passover? Olive oil, blood, holy water, palm fronds. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is blood. Exodus 12:13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. 38. Who went with Moses to the mountain to receive the law from God? Aaron, Gershom, Caleb, Joshua. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Joshua. Exodus 24:12. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua, and Moses went up into the mount of God. 39. What did the manna from heaven taste like? Bitter herbs, honey flavor, salty water, sweet berries. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is honey flavor. Exodus 16:31. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. 40. What material did God use for the 10 Commandments? Papyrus scrolls, wooden slabs, stone tablets, clay tablets. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is stone tablets. Exodus 31:18. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony, tablets of stone written with the finger of God. 41. Who did God appoint to carry out the priest's office? Moses, Aaron, Hur, Uzzah. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Aaron. Exodus 40:13. And thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garments, and anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. 42. How much food were the Israelites instructed to collect on the 6th day? Single serving, week supply, triple measure, double portion. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is double portion. Exodus 16:5. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. 43. What covered the tent of the congregation when the Lord's glory filled the tabernacle? Light, fire, cloud, smoke. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is cloud. Exodus 40:34. Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. 44. Who refused Pharaoh's order to kill Hebrew male babies? Egyptian soldiers, the midwives, Hebrew mothers, palace guards. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is the midwives. Exodus 1:17. But the midwives feared God and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. 45. Where did God tell the Israelites to borrow jewels? Foreign traders, Hebrew kinfolk, Egyptian neighbors, deserted cities. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is the Egyptian neighbors. Exodus 3:22. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians. 46. What event did Moses foretell at midnight in Egypt? A great noise, river to blood, death of firstborn, frogs invasion. You have 10 seconds to answer. answer is the death of firstborn. Exodus 11:4-5. And Moses said, Thus saith the Lord, About midnight will I go out into the midst of Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. 47. How many days did God tell the Israelites to eat unleavened bread? 10 weeks, 3 days, 7 days, 5 days. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 7 days. Exodus 12:15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread, even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. 48. Joshua fought against which enemy while Moses watched from above with God's staff? Canaan's army, Amalek's force, Egypt's remnant, Midian's warriors. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Amalek's force. Exodus 17:10. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. 49. After defeating Amalek, what did God tell Moses to do? Raise a banner, collect the spoil, write a memorial, offer a sacrifice. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is write a memorial. Exodus 17:14. And the Lord said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. 50. Who are the God-fearing midwives whom Pharaoh instructed to kill Hebrew male babies? Zipporah and Deborah, Jochebed and Miriam, Mala and Noah, Shiphrah and Puah. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Shiphrah and Puah. Exodus 1:15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. 51. What substance did Jochebed use to seal the ark of bulrushes containing Moses? Clay and mortar, slime and pitch, wool and flax, stone and mud. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is slime and pitch. Exodus 2:3. And when she, Jochebed, could not longer hide him, Moses, she took for him an ark of bulrushes and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. 52. What did God tell Moses to do as he approached the burning bush? Wash your feet, tie your sandals, remove his shoes, follow the path. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is remove his shoes. Exodus 3:5. And he, the Lord, said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. 53. How did the Egyptian sorcerers able to mimic Aaron's rod turning into a serpent? They speak words, they wave their hands, they use enchantments, they read the scroll. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is they use enchantments. Exodus 7:11. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, now the magicians of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantment. 54. Where did Aaron stretch his hand to summon the plague of frogs upon Egypt? Waters, lands, winds, fields. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is waters. Exodus 8:6. And Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. 55. What did Moses and Aaron use to initiate the plague of lice in Egypt? He pours the waters, he breaks the stone, he smites the dust, he kindles the fire. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is he smites the dust. Exodus 8:17. And they did so, for Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and smote the dust of the earth, and it became lice in man and in beast. All the dust of the land became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. 56. What were the Israelites instructed not to follow? Offer sacrifices, multitude to do evil, follow foreign leaders, go to distant land. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is multitude to do evil. Exodus 23:2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. 57. What were men not to offer for the 3 yearly feasts in the presence of the Lord? Empty-handed, leather sandals, leavened bread, sacred oils. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is leavened bread. Exodus 23:17-18. 3 times in the year all thy meals shall appear before the Lord God. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread. 58. What was the 7th year meant for Hebrew slaves? Land rest, freedom given, debt cancelled, sacrifice accepted. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is freedom given. Exodus 21:2. If thou buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. 59. What was required if an ox gored a man or a woman to death? Penalize the owner, death of the owner, beat the ox, stone the ox. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is stone the ox. Exodus 21:28. If an ox gore a man or a woman, that they die, then the ox shall be surely stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten, but the owner of the ox shall be quit. 60. In what manner were the Israelites to interact with strangers? Offer gifts, not oppress, grant a land, feed him. You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is not oppress. Exodus 22:21. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. And that ends round 2. Round 3, short answer, 3 points each. Let's begin. 61. What sea did God part for the Israelites? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Red Sea. Exodus 14:21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the Red Sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. 62. What did Moses' rod turn into before Pharaoh? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is serpent. Exodus 7:10. And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. 63. Through what means did God lead the Israelites by day in the desert? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is pillar of cloud. Exodus 13:21. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, to go by day and night. 64. What is the last plague? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is death of firstborn. Exodus 12:29. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt. 65. How long did Moses remain on Mount Sinai? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is 40 days and 40 nights, Exodus 24:18. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and got him up into the mountain, and Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. 66. What is the purpose of Aaron's holy garments? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is for glory and beauty, Exodus 28:2. And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother for glory and for beauty. 67. Who said, "Let my people go, that they may serve me"? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is God. Exodus 8:1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, Go unto Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me. 68. What was the key rule to follow for the Sabbath day? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is no work. Exodus 20:10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work. 69. Why did Moses' face shine? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is he spoke with God. Exodus 34:28-29. He was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. Moses wist not that the skin of his face shone when he talked with him. 70. What were the Israelites directed to do if a borrowed animal was injured or died without the owner? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is compensate or replace. Exodus 22:14. And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. 71. What was the name of Moses' father? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Amram. Exodus 6:20. And Amram took him Jochebed his father's sister to wife, and she bare him Aaron and Moses. 72. In what land within Egypt did the Israelites dwell? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Goshen. Exodus 8:22. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people Israelites dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end thou mayest know that I am the Lord in the midst of the earth. 73. What was unique about the darkness that was a plague sent upon Egypt? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is, it may be felt. Exodus 10:21. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. 74. During what plague did Pharaoh initially consent to let the Israelites go? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is after the plague of flies. Exodus 8:24 and 28. And the Lord did so, and there came a grievous swarm of flies into the house of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said, I will let you go, that ye may sacrifice to the Lord your God in the wilderness. 75. What plague stands out for its severity since Egypt's foundation? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is the hail. Exodus 9:18. Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as hath not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now. 76. What did the Egyptian magicians say about the lice plague? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is, they stated it was a divine act of God. Exodus 8:19. Then the magician said unto Pharaoh, This is the finger of God. 77. Who acknowledged sin and righteousness during the plague of hail? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Pharaoh. Exodus 9:27. And Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron and said unto them, I have sinned this time. The Lord is righteous, and I and my people are wicked. 78. What plague involved the outbreak of boils upon men and beasts? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is the sixth plague. Exodus 9:11. And the magicians could not stand before Moses because of the boils, for the boil was upon the magicians and upon all the Egyptians. 79. What was Aaron's role before leaving Egypt? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is Moses' spokesman. Exodus 4:16. And he, Aaron, shall be thy Moses spokesman unto the people, and he shall be, even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of God. And 80. What did the Israelites need to provide to keep the lamp burning constantly? You have 10 seconds to answer. The answer is olive oil. Exodus 27:20. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. Well, that's all the questions we have for you today. How well did you do? Tally your score and post in the comments. Don't forget to share this quiz to your friends and family. See you in the next one.